Hey everybody, this is Aaron with Art for a Dream, and I'm going to do a live painting for you guys here today of one of my conceptual art history collages. And we're going to do a little avant-garde art history lesson first so you guys can see the elements and principles of design and concepts of art that we're going to use conceptually as a collage in one painting. So here is the first painting that we're going to go over, and this is a neoclassical painting by Unger, and it is the quintessential realism piece of work. It's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, portrait ever painted, and it's of Napoleon. So realism in 1750. The next time period that we're going to talk about is Romanticism, and this was painted by Joseph Turner, and this was during 1780. And you can't really tell what this painting is all about, except that it's a wind scene on the ocean because of this mast. If this mast was not here, you probably wouldn't know what this painting was, and Joseph Turner was really good at doing that. Otherwise, this would be an abstract piece, but because that one little subtle line right there, you can tell it's a boat, and it's the ocean and the wind. So that was very influential. Those types of rapid brushstrokes were influential to the Impressionist period. And this is a work by Monet, and Impressionism was in 1865. And the Impressionist period used rapid brushstrokes to capture fluttering light, reflections of light, and capturing color. So this is a very good example of that. The next time period is the Post-Impressionistic period, where we have this piece, Starry Night by Van Gogh, in 1885, where he used the same techniques in terms of brushstrokes, but he would paint directly from the tube, Van Gogh, and he would use color opposites like yellow and blue, red and green, and his goal in doing that was to evoke emotion. The next time period was the Fauvist period in the 1900s, and this work is by Matisse, and he did something different. He would use color opposites, multiple sets of color opposites in the same painting. So instead of Van Gogh's just yellow and blue, he would have yellow, blue, red, green, and then he would have color opposites of the tertiary colors, not just the primary colors. But he did something interesting where he would incorporate black and white as centers of coherency in his wildly colorful paintings, and those neutral colors allowed your eye to grab onto something so you knew what you were looking at. This is a house scene on the ocean, and those are mountains. So the next time period, well, here's actually another example of Matisse. This is a little simpler. He did paper cutouts later in life, and when he was too sick, he was bedridden, and we're going to talk about paper cutouts, but you can see here the white and the black neutral colors. The next artist was Picasso, and Cubism started in 1905. This is a black and white piece, and Picasso actually invented collage along with Braque. Braque did pencil drawings on paper cutouts and collaged them onto canvas. Picasso would do ink pen drawings, but we'll talk about that later. So keep that in your mind. The next time period, in 1917, was the Surrealist time period, where you have Dali here in his hallucinogenic Toreador. This is a massive piece. And the Surrealists, they began to go deeper into the human psyche, in the subconscious, in dreams. That was their theme for creating their art. So that'll be another theme that we'll take a look at. And the next time period after that was the contemporary art period, where artists began, like Pollock here, to use untraditional painting methods like non-oil based paint. So here he would use house paint, but there was also the incorporation of acrylic paint like Rothko. I think this particular painting was in oil, but Rothko did experiment in acrylic. And everyone knows Andy Warhol. He would use acrylic paint, not just always oil. So these are all non-traditional painting methods that the avant-garde artists used, and that's how art began to evolve, from this sort of traditional, realistic, photographic image into conceptual or experimental, etc. And this piece that I created, this is my star sailing piece, and all of my artwork looks like this. This is my historiography paintings. But you can see I used the brushstrokes of the Impressionists, the wind scenes of Turner during the Romantic period, the color opposites of yellow and blue of Van Gogh, the paper cutouts of the moon in the Pirate on the ship here. That's a reference to Matisse and Picasso and their ink pen drawings that further references Picasso. It's a surrealist piece that references the time period of surrealism, and I painted in acrylic, which is non-traditional oil paint, which is a reference to the contemporary artists. So my work is a conceptual collage of all of the elements and principles of design of the avant-garde artists, as well as the figures themselves. The pirate and the moon are realistically depicted, as all of my drawings are, so that kind of references the realist period. So you have all these elements. So we're going to incorporate that into a painting. We're going to do a live painting, so let's get started. Let's come on over here. And I already got my paint set out. Here we go. So, I'll talk to you guys as I'm doing this. We're going to do the black part here I already pre-prepared. There's going to be a little girl running up a staircase to an opening door, and it's going to be a landscape. So let's get started. Okay. So we're going to start out with a little bit of yellow. And you'll notice I'm going to paint over some things. So we're going to come over here. But that's okay. So I'm going to just start out with the orange. And you know what? We're working with acrylic. Be sure to use your water sprayer, because that helps. And that's okay, because it helps sort of blend it out, and it'll stay wet better. So we're just going to come in here, and notice how I'm using these brush strokes, these rapid brush strokes, to really capture movement. And I'm doing the sky right now. Okay. And I'm going to get a bit of orange, and I'm going to put that in here like this. I'm just going to dab it in. And you guys will see that it's going to get, I just want to capture the light sources here, but this will be our sky. And I'm going to use up as much paint as I can here. That's all right. So, come back over here. Now I'm going to get some purple, and this will be a really, really nice sky that we're going to paint here. Notice how I'm using color opposites of purple and orange right here. See that? So keep an eye out for things like that when you're painting, because it'll really make your painting come alive if you're painting an avant-garde paint. So that's one element and principle of design that we're using right here, right now. So I'm going to come over here, clean my brush. And the next color I'm going to use a light blue right here. And then after that, I'm just getting the paint on the canvas right now. But after that, I'm going to take my big brush and I'm going to blend it all in. Okay. Get a bit of this color right here. So that'll be all right. Okay. So watch how I do this. Put my brush down. I'm going to get my dry big brush. I'm going to get it wet. Okay. And I'm just going to blend it in. I'm going to blend it all in. And I'm going to work outwards. I'm working outwards. See how I'm blending it in? And you can use the corner of your brush. You don't have to do it flat. You can just use the corner, because that'll put more pressure, and you can kind of roll it like this. Don't be afraid to get your brush wet here, because we're mixing. See? Not too wet, because you don't want it to drip, of course. But wet enough. You just kind of come in here, and we're blending. See that? So I'm going to blend back into the blue part of the sky. Sometimes the hairs get caught on the canvas, but that's all right. Okay, I think we have a pretty decent sky. I just want to keep blending. Just get that nice color. So we're focusing on color right now, and this is for the sun, sunset right here. So this should be pretty good. Let me dry my brush a little better. And I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a better job. So you can kind of see how that works. Okay, now let's get right into the tree line. Here we go. So I'm going to get a darker color. I'm going to get a dark green. Yeah, I'm going to get a dark green. I'm going to get a bit of Payne's gray too. I don't use black. I use Payne's gray. Usually don't want to do black because absolute black doesn't really exist in nature, but some people use it, and that's okay. If you can lighten it up with some colors, that's fine. So I'm going to come right in here, and I'm just making my tree line. This right here is just my tree line, and I'm going to do the base of it. Okay, I'm doing the base of my tree line, and I'm going to paint in some dark colors like this. Okay, I'm just capturing light. Okay, because the base will be darker than the top. Okay, now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get a bit of red. It's actually kind of like a hot pink, and mix that in with my black. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start painting some trees. I just want the line of a tree. I don't want to do too many details right here. This is just, I just want to know that that's where my trees are going to go. I'm going to use up the rest of this paint on the bottom here. That way I don't have to wipe it off. So as we do this, you're going to see that we're using so many different elements within the same painting. And this is a great exercise that you can use if you're an art teacher, grade school, high school, college. I would encourage anybody to do these practices, because you're really engaging your brain in so many different areas of art. Art theory, concepts of art, the elements and principles of design, obviously also art history. This is just a fantastic way to practice, and you're not just learning it, you're not just sitting in front of a classroom, you're doing it, you're creating it. You are Picasso, you are Matisse right now. You are Van Gogh. You're doing all these things and you're putting it all together in a conceptual collage. This is just a really fantastic way. Even if you've never painted before, just work on these skills, and I mean, you'll learn to paint like a master, like anybody else. So here we go. All right, I'm going to fill in some of this extra color. I'm going to come in down here, and I'm just filling in color. That's all I'm doing. Okay, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to come down here. That'll be where my shadows are. And I'm going to get some white paint. I'm going to paint a little sun right there. These are just the tree branches right here, but we're going to keep going. Okay. Now, let me clean my paintbrush. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to get some orange. And I'm going to start painting like this. I'm going to start painting the grass. Just like this. I'm coming in here and I'm filling in space with color. Okay. I'm going to come in here with this color, this deep green right here. That's really nice, isn't it? Alright, so we're going to be sure to keep an eye out for the curvature of the ground. So we'll do that. We'll get some yellow in here, clean my brush. And I'm just coming in here and I'm doing some highlights on the ground. See how I do that? Now I want some blue. I'm feeling some blue because I want some color from the sky on the ground. So let's do that. We're going to do that. You always want whatever your sky color is, the lights, that's the same color that's going to be the highlights on whatever's on the ground. And the dark color, the darkest part of the sky, your shadows are going to be the same color for whatever's on the ground. So we're going to come in here, fill that in. Okay. And this is just such a fantastic way to practice. And you know, I work with autistic kids, so I do the ABA therapy, and this is just fantastic. I mean, depending upon the age of your child and whether they can vocalize and they can communicate, you can apply ABA to this method too. You know, the four major components of ABA are establish motivation. So, you know, we're painting, we're excited, we're doing good, you know, we're learning things. Then you prompt. You can say, oh, who invented paper cutouts? As you're doing the paper cutouts, which I've already done beforehand, but I'll show you that when we're done here. And then you can prompt and say Picasso, and then they'll respond, they'll repeat, and then you ask them again. You say, who invented collage? And then they will respond independently. So then they've just made an independent response, and then you give reward. So establish motivation, you prompt, fade the prompt, and then you reward with whatever. It could be a cookie or a cracker or whatever you got, and that'll be all good. So whatever you want to do, it's just your way. This is how we get these kids, autistic or not. You bring them out of whatever challenges they're having or just general education, and they're learning. They're learning these skills. They're learning art history. They're learning art itself. They're learning concepts, and this is just a great way to just engage your own brain, and you can really start getting into some really great activities here in developing your own mind to be a creative thinker, an artist. We're all an artist, we're all born an artist, but some people forget how to do that. Okay, so we're getting close to that time. I'm trying to fill this in, but you can kind of see. So I've got the brush strokes of the Impressionists, I've got the colors of the Post-Impressionists. I think it's about time that we do this paper collage here, because we're getting to that time. And let me add some more light colors here. We can do some light colors here on the trees. See how we're doing some light colors on the trees? Okay. I just want to fill in some white, but I'm getting the color on the ground, so it looks reflective. There's some flowers here. See that? So, really wonderful. I'm going to get some color from the sky on the trees in the background over here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some branches. I'm going to paint some branches on the trees so they look a little bit more like trees. Just like that. See, like this. Quick, easy painting. Doesn't have to be, you know, I mean, it could be as detailed, as great as you want it to be, but for time's sake, we're going to do it like this. So here, I'm going to get my paintbrush right here. I'm going to get, I use glue. I use adhesive glue, specially designed for applying collages to canvases. And I'm going to paint it in these black spaces right here where my collage is going to go. So it was a really nice painting. We got this really nice scene, you know, creative. This winding staircase leading up to this open door right here. It's a very surrealistic sort of painting, and that's the element. That's the reference to the surrealist period. So let's get these figures right here. I already pre-drew these out, so I'm going to just kind of put them on right there. That's where the door is. That's where the door goes. And then we have the girl. So this is a wonderful painting, as you can see. We've got the colors of the, let me get this right here. The colors of the post-impressionists, the brushstrokes of the impressionists. We've got the collage of Picasso and Matisse. We have the surrealist themes, if you can see that, of Dali. We use acrylic paint, non-traditional oil, and that alludes to the contemporary artists. And it's just a wonderful little exercise, wonderful little painting. So I encourage you all to implement that and do that in your curriculum. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I thank you for watching. So take care.